Welcome to the AFN Sports Arena with Jantzee and Tory. I'm Jantzee Ellis, joined by the one and only Tory Cusimano.
Oh my God, again? Jeez, somebody's got to get these people out of here.
Tell your fans to pipe down. We are coming to you today from the beautiful island of Okinawa, Japan, and it's a pretty exciting day because this is our first official installment of our weekly sports podcast.
Yay!
Where we'll be bringing you everything from the top headlines in the world of sports to local DoD athletics on Okinawa. We might even bring in a few guests from time to time, maybe get a little Dave Orenauer in here. What do you think about that?
I am a huge fan of Dave Orenauer, and I like to talk to him about all things.
Sports, and he is the guru.
Sports, I guess. Fine.
But today, let's start with some NBA headlines. Russell Westbrook took the NBA MVP honors.
Congratulations, Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook.
Russell
A name
Westbrook.
that I have issues saying. Always have.
How is it that you want to say it?
Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook.
I don't know why. I'm usually a pretty eloquent speaker, but that name gets to me.
Oh, and so humble, too.
You know.
It's okay. Everyone's got those names or those words that get to them.
We will refer to him as he is my name. But let's go back to his MVP, which is amazing because he made history. He's only the second player in NBA history, besides Oscar Robertson,
Big O,
to average a triple-double throughout the season.
That is absolutely ridiculous to me.
That's an average.
In today's NBA, for a player to average a triple-double over an entire season, and what did he have on the season? It was like 42 triple-doubles or something crazy
42.
like that?
He beat Oscar Robertson's 41.
My
A
goodness.
55-year record he beat.
Russell Westbrook is a man among boys.
And he did this all following the departure of his partner, Kevin Durant, who we all know. Who we all know jumped ship and hopped on the Warriors winning bandwagon.
Yeah.
Took the easy way out.
I know.
Some may say.
Well, I mean, it ended up pretty good for him. But there was a lot of people when Durant was still on the Thunder that thought that because Westbrook and Durant were both players that needed the ball in their hands a lot of the time, that it was actually a bad pairing. Even though they did a lot of really great things together, there are some people think who both players benefited from leaving the team. Now, that argument is kind of null and void because Durant goes to the Warriors.
Durant benefited just a little bit more.
Well, but Steph Curry is also a player who needs the ball in his hand. Klay Thompson, the rest of these guys.
But they worked it out.
They're all playmakers, and they did work it out. Russell Westbrook, I think, benefited from, maybe not the team, but Russell Westbrook benefited from Durant leaving.
Now, Westbrook, the Thunder only had a 47-35 record. Not too bad. Lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Rockets.
Yeah.
What do you think about how they vote for the MVP? Because right now, the votes are due mid-April, whereas the season ends, I think, April 25th.
Right.
And then there's the whole playoffs. What do you think? Should they hold off voting? Until playoffs?
I don't have a problem with the way that they do it because you have a general sense of how things are going. And I believe that the MVP award, it's like the regular season MVP. And then they award the finals MVP.
This is true.
And I think that kind of is the play. They like it's a foregone conclusion that one of the players in the finals is going to be the playoff MVP. So they just call it the finals MVP.
And I think undoubtedly the single most important player to their team was Russell Westbrook.
Oh, absolutely. Without Westbrook, the Thunder are 0 for 62 or however many games there are in an NBA season. They lost several key cogs over the past several years. I mean, you look at James Harden, who was a member of the Thunder. He goes to Houston. Then Durant jumps ship. They aren't the force that they used to be, even with Russell Westbrook.
Yes, I agree. Speaking of Houston, big trades coming along.
Oh, man.
NBA free agency starts this weekend, July 1st, where these next few weeks can determine the whole next year
There's
and
some
beyond.
Big names. There's some solid players going to be out there in free agency.
This is the weekend last year that Durant jumped ship and went out to the Warriors. So what we're looking at here, some trades are being made before free agency even begins. This biggest one being CP3.
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul traded to the Rockets.
Dang, that's such a big trade.
I know.
Chris Paul is getting up there as far as age goes, but he still has so much ability to play.
You want to hear what the Clippers got? The Rockets got Chris Paul.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And the Clippers, they get guards Patrick Beverly and Lou Williams,
1,
forwards
2,
Sam Decker
3.
and Montrezl Harrell,
For?
And a 2018 first-round pick.
5 different things for players in a draft pick? Oh, my goodness.
What do you think about that? You think that it'll pay dividends?
I mean, the Rockets, from their perspective, they've got to be thinking our championship window is now, and we've got to go all in to maximize James Harden and these other guys that we got playing on our team to get us over that hump. Now, James Harden plays a little point guard. Chris Paul plays point guard.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what do you think about that pairing?
I think James Harden is probably...
Is one ball on the court enough for those two?
I think James Harden's more natural position is a shooting guard, so I think when they're on the floor together, that's what's going to happen is CP3 will handle most of the ball handling duties during that time. But you think about that, if you have them not playing as much minutes together, then you have like a top flight, top 10 NBA type point guard on the floor at all times. That's going to be hard to beat over 48 minutes every game.
I agree. And if we've learned anything from this season, it's that superstar teams make it all the way.
Yeah.
It's the way to go in the NBA of the future. You can't have just one, maybe 2 superstars. I mean, look at the Cavaliers, you know. It's not enough. You need these super teams. I know. So we'll see. And then also, the Knicks part ways with Phil Jackson.
The Zen Master?
The Zen Master
Zen
couldn't
no
hack
more?
it.
Well,
no more.
You know what? Phil Jackson, his influence and his career cannot be doubted. He has benefited from 2 of the best players of their generation in Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant with the Bulls and the Lakers, respectively. But he definitely revolutionized things with his triangle offense and his approach to the game. But we know that his time in Los Angeles ended because he was having some health problems. He wasn't fit to go on the road anymore. He's starting to get to that age where you start to wonder maybe if he's not losing touch, but just...
Now, the word on the street, it's not so much about his ability. It's more about his lack of humility, shall we say. They're having some
he's got
personality
a bit of an
issues.
Ego, does he?
Yes, he does.
Well,
and
the Knicks
a lot
should
of people
know a lot about that.
Yeah. And he only brought him to a 91-71 record in his time in New York. He made a lot of promises that he didn't deliver on, and he also made a lot of missteps.
I tell you what, man, when the Knicks bagged him, I thought that was a slam dunk, to use a basketball term for a basketball move. And yeah, it just hasn't panned out. Carmelo Anthony, well, to be fair, I think Carmelo Anthony is not a winner and that he inherited a bad situation, did Phil Jackson.
Yes.
But you're absolutely right. Every step he's taken to try and fix that franchise and get them back to where they used to be in their glory days, it's been not just a little wrong, but the most wrong. Derrick Rose was a dud.
Yep.
All these guys that they've done, Kristaps Porzingis, they passed up on some good players to take him, and he's a real solid young kid. But they were trying to shop him last I heard.
Yeah.
They were trying to trade him.
Yeah, you can't account enough for his demeanor and his comments. We all remember the LeBron posse comment, calling his business associates a posse. He did quite a few things to turn people off of the Knicks.
Raise them eyebrows.
And a lot of people said that he really only took that job for the money. And as we know, if your heart's not in it, rarely does it pan out.
Right.
Now, with free agency coming up, a big question a lot of people have coming off of this championship of the Warriors is, can they stick together?
We shall see.
We shall see. They're going to try really hard. Durant has already said that he's willing to take a small pay cut in order to keep people like
Iguodala,
Andre Iguodala. But the big thing is, with Curry, he has a big contract coming up.
Yeah.
So in the new CBA, collective bargaining agreement, that went into effect this year, there is now a clause that allows for players to be a designated veteran, which they're calling this the Supermax clause. They are getting in the ballpark of $200 million for a 5-year contract.
What?
$200 million. So to put that in perspective, the Warriors have been getting a bargain with Curry at about $11 million per year.
Yeah, absolutely. For an MVP type player.
A bargain.
Perhaps
$11
the
million.
best shooter in NBA history. Debatable, but anyway.
But he stands to be eligible for the Supermax contract, which is about $200 million. So if he were to leave and go somewhere else, which is highly doubtful, he'd be leaving about $70 million on the table. Pretty unheard of.
So it allows a team, is that like outside of their normal salary cap?
Yes, and you have to be on a team for a certain amount of years, and this is put in place to keep players like Curry and Durant last year on their team. So
they should probably call it the Durant rule.
They probably should.
Seems like a direct.
Isn't that pretty convenient?
Seems definitely like a direct response to Durant jumping ship leaving old Russ
Exactly.
all by himself there in OKC. I think this will be good for basketball.
I think it will be good too. You won't see as many big blockbuster trades and people taking their talents to South Beach,
Well, I'm all for the blockbuster trades, but it's the free agency where they jump ship for nicer climates or the bigger city, the brighter lights, you know what I mean? I hate the super team concept because even though it's good for the NBA, it's awful for the fans of all 30 teams.
I agree. It takes the competition out. It takes the hope out of the small market teams.
You never see those Cinderella runs anymore.
No.
Teams like the Orlando Magic made the finals against the Lakers a few years back. I think it was like 10 years ago.
My Utah Jazz.
The Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
The Denver Nuggets.
Yep.
Well, I was hoping we're going to be in the running for CP3, but I suppose those hopes are dashed now.
Yes, they're dashed even before free agency starts.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are in kind of a lull in the sports world. Not a lot going on right now, except for my favorite casual spectator sport, baseball.
You don't like baseball?
I love baseball, but it serves for me as more of a placeholder until my one true first love, football, comes back around.
The fandom surrounding football can't be denied. I love baseball. I think I like it a little bit more. It's not just a casual spectator sport for me. I definitely invested in the league and the sport, and I think it's a different wavelength. It's a different vibe. It's a little bit more laid back. You know what I mean?
I love a good baseball game. I've been to plenty of MLB games, and I love them. Watching games on TV isn't quite my jam.
I think 162 games is a little too many. It's a slog.
Yeah.
You can get to those dog days of summer, late August, early September, especially if your team's not in contention. It just gets to be like, enough.
It's definitely a marathon.
Yeah.
Not a sprint. So we're about at the halfway point of the MLB season. What do you think about what's going on? Who are your standout players right now?
Well,
who's on your radar?
I feel like I'm going to be a homer for this entire podcast, everything that we ever do. But in this case, it really holds true because on the Colorado Rockies, there's a third baseman named Nolan Arenado.
Yes.
And this dude is maybe the best baseball player I've ever seen.
Whoa.
If he was on a team like the Yankees or the Red Sox, then he would be the face of the MLB. They'd be talking about him all day, every day. He is an MVP type candidate. He hit 40 home runs last year. He's led the NL in RBIs the past 2 or 3 years in a row, and his defense is incredible. It seems like every single game he's making a highlight reel stop over there at third. Just yesterday, he threw out a guy from on his back. He dove for a ball, rolled over on his back, threw across the diamond, and got the guy at first by a half step. It's just insane to watch him every day. I think he flies, for how good he is, I think he flies under the radar.
Now, you didn't mention anything about Mike Trout.
Oh, man,
Bryce
Mike Trout.
Harper.
Yeah.
What do you think about those guys? To me, the best player in the league right now is obviously Mike Trout.
If I was a GM in the MLB and I was starting a team and they put all the players out there in a pool and I got the first overall pick, when you talk about a player that you want to build your team around, some people might choose a pitcher, some people might choose a shortstop. I'm picking Mike Trout every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Good.
That guy he has every single tool. He's a 5 skill player. They say he's got the speed, the power, hitting for average. He's got it all, and all of them are elite level.
Yes. Bottom line, he is the gold standard in the league right now. He's finished in the top 2 in MVP voting in every season he's played in.
Now, for Bryce Harper, he makes my punk list. I don't like Bryce Harper. I don't like his face. I don't like his swing.
Oh, come on.
I don't like the way he just does anything ever.
Tell me how you really feel.
You know what? He's a really good player.
He
I can't
is a
deny
really
it.
good player.
I can't deny it. And if I was a fan of the Nationals,
and he knows it.
Yeah, he definitely knows it. And it's one of those guys that you hate or you love him if he's on your team, and if you're on an opposing team, then you love to hate him.
I think it's pretty undeniable that right now he is the face of baseball.
Yeah, I'd say when you get these generational type players like Jeter that have retired and A-Rod and these other guys that sort of, are gone from the game now. Albert Pujols is still playing, but does nothing. Bryce Harper, definitely the current face of the MLB.
Now I have kind of a soft spot for the Washington Nationals because there was a summer way back in my former life that I lived in D.C. and I hit up a lot of Nats games.
good.
But I loved watching the Nats, and this was Bryce Harper's rookie year. And this was before, he really came into his own.
Mm-hmm.
Got pretty cocky. But he's just a very talented, hardworking player.
There's no denying his talent. I definitely respect the man. He's on my punk list, which is what? That's running like 10 people strong now.
Yeah, you have your list. Well, maybe we'll do a whole show on that one
On
time.
my punk list.
We can go through your punk list.
I would love that.
Coming up, this is Independence Day weekend,
Woo!
4th of July.
Freedom!
We love it. Catch all of the MLB games on myafn.net. Get your complete schedule. They have a lot of specials. They have the MLB ESPN Holiday Game Series. There's a few of them. And the MLB Military Salute Game.
Hey.
They have a lot of reruns because a lot of them air in the middle of the night here in Okinawa. So check your schedule. Watch them. Get your baseball fix for this 4th of July. And that's all we have for you today. We hope you'll join us next week in the AFN Sports Arena. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, want to just say hi, feel free to email us at afnsportsarena@gmail.com. I'm Jantzee Ellis, and I've been joined by
Air Force Staff Sergeant Tory Kuzumano.
He said,
oh, my goodness. Why does that keep happening?
He loves it. He loves that. That's his favorite part of the day.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Well, stay safe out there, and don't forget, you have to look good to play good.